Hello, everyone. It's Michelle Cadell again, here with Michael Groff to tell us his story about when a car ran over you.
Well, it didn't really run over me. It sort of hit me, and then I went down the road, and kind of like a car hitting a moose, basically. So it was April 22nd, 1999. And about 2:52 p.m. at the intersection of Forest and University in Tempe. I was a student at ASU at the time. I was 21 years old. Mm-hmm. And I was staying late that day to work on a project. And so I decided to leave. And as I'm getting ready to cross the street, there's other people crossing on the other side. Mm-hmm. And so I figured it's okay. The light, it's not really well illuminated there, and there's obviously no audio clues. So I started crossing kind of late in the light cycle.
And when you mean audio clues, that means it's not an accessible light. There's nothing telling you. Back
then, those hardly existed anywhere, but especially not here. Mm-hmm. So I start crossing the street, mm-hmm. and the light changes. I might have gotten about a third of the way out there. Now, University Avenue is pretty wide. It's 6 lanes maybe right there total. And so I just figured, I'm just going to hustle across. And I don't exactly know what happened next because my recollection of this event is not completely clear. But I do know that I was hit by a car. I'm told that it was a Mazda. And I bounced off the windshield. I bounced off like the hood and the windshield of the car, and I rolled about, 40, 50 feet down the road. And that's where I got this scar from. I mean, my arm got torn open pretty good right about here. Mm-hmm. I had 17 staples here. I got a cut over my eye that required 4 stitches. And I had a number of, little scrapes and cuts on my hand from glass and whatnot.
Your teeth.
Right, and I had cracks in my teeth that would appear over the years to come.
Wow.
Which I'm still having issues with all that. But so I was unconscious. I was out for a few minutes. When I woke up, what I remember about waking up was I'm in the street. I'm like, what happened? I have no idea what happened. My instinct was to try and get up. There was a crowd of people gathered around me. I think they thought I was some kind of a zombie or something, trying to get up. They're like, no, just stay down. I think people were just shocked that I even was getting up after seeing this happen. Wow. And, I heard an ambulance coming, and I think I even tried to reach for my asthma medication at that point. And then I do remember I looked down and I saw my arm was like this, just like, just disgusting. It was, fleshy and bloody and all this. And I'm like, and that freaked me out. I passed out again. And then I woke up in the ambulance. And at that point, my brain had just completely blue screened, Mm-hmm. Even trying to get it out of my mouth right now, I sort of blue screened. And so they were asking me questions. Do you know who you are? And I'm like, Mike? They're like, what day is it? I'm like, Tuesday. Meanwhile, it was Thursday. Do you know what month it is? I'm like, June. No, it was April.
You're failing all these.
Oh, yeah. I knew my name. That was about it. And I kind of didn't know what was going on. And mm-hmm. I start getting pretty upset. And they're like, no, you're going to be okay. You're going to be just fine. And once I got to the hospital and they kind of got me into this, the ICU, or whatever to stitch me up and whatnot, it all kind of kicked back in. They're like, do you have a number that we can call and all this sort of thing? And so then I was able to get my mom on the phone and all that. And so that was the initial thing. And so that was my impact with the
car.
With the car.
But then you were interviewed by a certain police department.
Well, yes.
We should mention.
Well, this was in Tempe, so it was the Tempe Police Department, Tempe's finest. And we can name names. It's been 21 years, and this is the truth anyway. So there was a guy, Officer Yenny, who came in. This is now, keep in mind, I've been wheeled over to the recovery area. Mm-hmm. And I want to point out first, my mom was very reassuring. She came in and does this. When she looks at me, because my face is swollen. I've got cuts, and obviously I'm all stapled up here and stitched here. And I just, I look like I got the worst end of a fight. And in a way I kind of did, although I should point out that this guy's car was totaled. So I actually won, if you want to look at it that way. So yeah, this guy comes at the Tempe police officer, Yenny, comes in and he does this. Michael, do you know what happened? And I shove a section of my face aside and get out. As far as I know, I was hit by a car. Well, you were jaywalking. He has this, stone cold serious. I'm like, no, I wasn't. That I did. I may not have remembered the whole incident, but I know I was not jaywalking.
You were clearly
I was in the intersection. The light, when I started crossing, was with me. Now, it changed, but at the time, I know this because other people were crossing too. So, on the other side. So, I know I was okay. But, yeah. So, he told me I was... And then he gave me a whole spiel. Some of it I don't completely remember. Just about, how dangerous it is and how I should be using a cane and all that sort of thing. I don't remember word for word that part. But what I do remember next, of course, is something that's been forever etched in my brain as if it just happened 15 minutes ago. And he says, Michael, again, arms crossed, next to my bed. Michael, I could issue you a citation for this, but I think you've learned your lesson. Now, hindsight being 20/20, and the fact that I was just hit by a car and my brain still was somewhat scrambled, but I can tell you, I really wish that I don't have very many regrets in my life. There's not a whole lot of things, relationships or issues with my dad or anything. There's nothing really except this one thing I will say I definitely regret, and that is I wish I would have said to this guy, dude, you got to give me that citation. It's the only way I'm going to learn. I've been a bad boy. Issue me that citation. I would have loved to have been a blind guy walking into a court in front of a judge and going, yeah, this dude gave me a ticket. Would have loved it.
Right.
That opportunity. So that's what I most regret about that. So,
but you were entertaining to the nurses in the hospital while you were there.
Well, yeah. So one thing is I definitely learned from my dad, and that is that even in any situation, dark humor, if you want to call it that, or any sort of humor, I did say, I started joking with the nurses, and they got me up to my room, and I just looked at the nurse and I said, I just thank you so much for helping me out. And she, it's no problem at all. It's all good. And I'm like, I just want to thank you for not making fun of my genitals. And she just starts laughing, and she laughs for the next 20 minutes. I hear her down the hall, and she just like, I hear her telling the other, his daddy just wanted to thank me for not making fun of his genitals. This guy. And then other nurses are coming in and,
And looking at your genitals?
No, they weren't looking at, but I think they were just kind of hoping that I would have more comedy for them. In this accident, I didn't break any bones. That
is just some sort of miracle, I think, that you lived.
I know. And then I did have one of these dudes come in, one of these, I don't know if it was a priest or what he was, minister or whatever.
Right.
But he comes in and he asks what happened, and I think he thought I got shot or something. I'm like, no, I got hit by a car. And he's like, well, do you want to talk about it? And I just said, what happened? And he goes, well, you didn't break any bones. That seems very fortunate. It seems like your guardian angel was with you. And I said, I don't know about that one, Chief. I think my guardian angel was on lunch break at the time, because if I had a guardian angel truly with me, I wouldn't have been hit by the car in the first place. Maybe I could go with your theory that maybe he was just taking a break and he comes back and he goes, oh, come on! Really?
I leave him alone for 2 minutes.
I just wanted to go get a sandwich and this happens? Well, the boss is going to be pissed. So that's...
That was your accident story.
Yeah,
which
that
is
was my
funny
accident.
Because that's the same day and almost the same moment I gave birth to Karina. April 26, 1999.
22nd.
22nd. I did not get Karina's birthday wrong.
You just did.
It's going to be like, oh my gosh, my birthday's not on the 22nd.
So, yes, at the time I was fighting for my life, she was giving birth to one of her daughters.
I was giving birth.
Yes.
To Karina.
Yes. So, well, that's interesting.
But her birthday is April 22nd, just in case she questions it. Because she will.
We'll just say you got nervous because of the camera.
Yeah, but she was born April 22nd at 2:22 p.m.
So a half hour later, I was getting plowed by a Mazda.
The little compact cars that was really popular then.
Yep.
That body style.
Well, I'm glad it was. I'm glad that it wasn't the other. I do remember. This is what I do remember too. Is like there was a big old Lincoln Continental in the intersection. God. And I'm thinking, thank God I didn't get hit by that, or like, one of those old Buicks, or, something like, or a minivan. I would have been run over. Like people say, oh, you were, like you said at the beginning of this video, was you were run over by a car. And it's like, no, I actually wasn't run over. Thank God. Because if I was, wouldn't have been here to tell this story today.
Yeah, you just bounced off the windshield.
Yeah, I bounced right off. I mean, I took out the windshield. There was broken glass everywhere. Like I said, I totaled that guy's car. So, and then did you take that car? You said they came back and sued you. Well, he didn't sue. He went after. I was under my mom's insurance at the time. He went after my mom's insurance, and they basically told him to go pound sand. But he tried. I mean, he made a legit effort. His car is totaled, and he's a kid, and he's like, no. Right. He was a kid too, and his car is probably not worth anything. So. Yeah, it was it might have been like a 93 or a 95 Mazda, which at the time, a 4 or 6 year old car, something like that. Not bad, but. Maybe he was hoping for something nice. From I mean, whatever it was, I do know I totaled it out. So it was. Oh, wow. Yeah. The blind guy, he ran into my car and bounced off of it. I need the money now. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably his defense was, no, he ran into me. You don't understand. He ran in. As he hit me going 30 miles an hour. So that was exciting. All the way back into we're coming up on the 21-year anniversary of that. Right, and Karina will be 21. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, shout out to Karina then. Shout out to Karina. Yes. So that is Mike's story on how he was hit by a car, not ran over, but hit by a car. And so I wouldn't recommend it, by the way, for anyone else in the blind community or any sort of disabled. I wouldn't recommend it. Wasn't really that fun. Don't recommend it's an experience, but I would suggest not doing so. Maybe my ample size is the reason that I survived. That's what the doctors speculate. So I wouldn't recommend it. You could be a stuntman. Yeah. 2 out of 10 wouldn't recommend. Yeah. So, okay. So I'm not sure what we should talk about for the next video. I don't know. That's not really a good tease. Oh, should we just have people comment on Coming up on the next video, Michelle doesn't know. That's good. Yeah, that's good. Right? That's a great promotion. I don't. Coming up next time, we don't know what we're going to talk about. We'll just ramble for a few minutes, and you know what? You're going to watch, because what else is on YouTube? We could ask people to comment and what they would like to hear. Yeah, if you'd like to hear about our stories or our experiences out in public. Maybe we should talk about, we didn't go into the story about the date and how people interacted with us, like how they talked to me and they wouldn't really talk to you. That would be an interesting thing to talk about as well. That is something that happens quite a bit, especially, I don't know how much that's prominent with people with other disabilities, but I know with me and with other blind people I have. That was our first date too. I was like, doesn't she see him right there? He's a big guy. Yeah. He's trying to place his order. I'm pretty hard to miss, and yet somehow a car missed me. People miss me all the time. They just don't see you. I've been hit. I was hit by bicyclists while standing still at ASU quite a bit. Were you? Oh yeah, that would happen. That happened several times. I always thought, how do you miss me? I'm standing still having a conversation and someone would just run right into me. So it wasn't just cars that hit me. Cars were the one thing that really hurt, though.
So you've been hit by cars, bikes.
Yes. People on skateboards.
People on skateboards.
That happened quite a bit. It was amazing. I for a while, I had this philosophy while I was at ASU, and I floated this out to a couple of my friends that I'm actually invisible.
Well, and people might, because you don't use a walking cane or anything to kind of identify that you have vision issues, low vision.
But I didn't walk into them. It's like I'm standing still having a conversation with my friends, and they would see this happen. They go, "How the hell does that happen? How the hell does somebody run into you?"
They think maybe you're going to move aside because they think you see them coming, but you're like,
my back's turned to them.
oh, well then I have no excuse.
Do sighted? Is this something that I don't get in the sighted community? That do people that are fully sighted, do they have eyes in the back of their heads? I mean, I know they say teachers do and moms do, but does everybody?
And the mean nuns.
Yeah, and the nuns.
Private Catholic school.
Right,
I don't know. I don't know why they ran to you. They
I don't know.
Didn't see you.
Well, that's something to cover next time. And if you enjoy these videos, you want to subscribe, like, share, get notified whenever we post brand new ones, go ahead and do any of that stuff. Leave your comments and suggestions and questions, and we'll get to those too.
All right. That sounds good. That was fun.
That was fun.
Okay.
Painless too.
It is.
Unlike getting hit by a car.
Aww.